Minister. Now, thank you very much indeed. You're welcome back, and one person has finished and another person begins. Rosemary Mullholland of the Conservation Department of the Lough Neagh Discovery Centre. You're head of the department.
Yes, I'm head of Conservation and Heritage.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your normal day at Lough? Oh, by the way, first of all, congratulations. Lough Neagh getting a substantial amount of money. You're getting, today it's announced you're getting 2.58 million from the National Heritage Fund.
That's right,
That's
Heritage Lottery. Yes, that's the Lough Neagh Partnership.
Yes.
Successfully applied for that, so it's
Had
great
you been
to hear
aware
the
of the
news.
application?
Oh yes, we were.
And
we
you were
were
on
involved.
tenterhooks waiting for it to come
yes,
back.
it was quite quick actually. The news
Yeah.
came through quite quickly.
Why do you think they got it? Because many people will apply and won't get it, but Lough Neagh, it was on a sure thing almost.
Well, you know, Lough Neagh is such an iconic lake. You know, it's the largest freshwater lake in the UK and Ireland. So it's been somewhat neglected, I suppose, in the past. It's very low-lying land around it, so it's hard to see it, and people don't really appreciate what's there. So,
of course, it's got that wonderful quality of creating another nation, because the Isle of Man exists today because of Lough Neagh.
That's right.
When the
Thanks
great
to Phil
giant
McCool.
reached down and lifted the clump of earth and slung it at the giant across the water, it landed in the Isle of Man. That became the Isle of Man.
That's where Lough Neagh started, yeah.
So tell me about Lough Neagh today. Is it full of flies? Is that part of the problem of it? And what's the beauty of it? People talk about the midges and stuff like
well,
that.
you do. You get the midges during the spring and early summer, but they're all an important part of the ecosystem of the loch. So they're feeding everything else.
Toe bone's connected to the ankle bone, the ankle bone connected to the leg bone connected to the thigh bone. So the little gets eaten
midges.
by the bigger get eaten. So that's the whole ecological chain.
Yeah, and the good thing about the midges is that they don't bite, so they're just a bit of a nuisance. But
I found it's always very good if you did a night sweep on the midges and got them, and if you did them in a light beer batter in the morning. It's very, very nutritious. It was
really?
awful.
Have you tried that,
I have, of course.
I can't say I've tried it now.
I recommend it. It's to be done. Describe to people the centre, the Discovery Centre, so that they know what to come to. It's beautiful.
Oh, it is. The Lough Neagh Discovery Centre, it's located at Oxford Island, which is on the southern shores of the loch, and it's owned and managed by Craigavon Borough Council. So it's a local council facility, but it's probably one of the best places to come to if you want to see Lough Neagh and get a feel for the sort of natural habitats that you would get around the loch, the ponds, the reed beds, the woodlands and the grasslands. So it's like taking a step back in time as to what it would have been like around the loch in years gone by.
Of course, because if you look out, tunnel vision on the loch, you have all those environments you have spoken about, and unchanged in the millennia. It is today as it was then, if you ignore the marker buoys for the boats and things like that.
Yes, well, it looks exactly as it would have. Now, the water quality, of course, has deteriorated over the years, but still, it's a very rich lake, and it's very important, especially for wildfowl.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of designations to Ramsar site, internationally important for wildfowl. It's a specially protected area under European legislation. It's an area of special scientific interest. And then at Oxford Island, we're also a national nature reserve. So that recognises the importance of Lough Neagh.
And you've proved a very important thing. You've proved that it's possible for good conservation to coexist happily and meaningfully with good tourism.
Exactly. I mean, we would get about 300,000 visitors a year to Oxford Island. So that's one of the top visited sites in Northern Ireland. So yes, as long as you're careful about where you put your paths, and you know, people do tend to respect it and be responsible and look after it.
I have to say, if one hears, and I don't expect you to comment on this, but one hears about the much vaunted Giant's Causeway, a heap of rubble up there on the northeast coast, which I detest intensely because it is a nothingness. But Lough Neagh, you go and you've got the ecology, you have the flora, you have the fauna, you've got the reed beds, you have the wet, you have all of that. You have an adventure. It's going on a safari if you go to the heartland of Ulster. It's going to climb a bundle of rocks if you go the other place. But you've taken tourism uniquely to a new level.
Yes, I mean, the good thing about coming to the likes of Oxford Island is there's always something different to see. And a lot of our visitors are people who come back maybe 2 or 3 times a week, you know, local people that use it for walks. We get a lot of school groups as well. And we've put in a lot of new features now at Oxford Island as well. There's a new bushcraft centre has been opened up.
What's a bushcraft?
Bushcraft is survival skills, so it's teaching people how to survive if they were out in the wilds and so on.
Wow, I love this.
Cooking their own food, gathering.
I did this 60 years ago. I was in the Scouts.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just that sort of thing.
So it's been really, really popular, and we've got art space. You know, there's always something different to see when you're walking around.
And the boats are there. The marina
That's right,
is
the marina. It's the largest marina on Lough Neagh, so it's very popular.
And the thing about that marina, because I'm a boating man, it's doable in terms of expense.
It is.
Other marinas, the sky's the limit. You know, Howth, Bangor, woo. But Lough Neagh, it's civil in terms of finance.
It is. Yeah.
It's easily done. You know.
And it's easy to get to. You know, it's right in the centre of the province. So, you know, it's only 30 minutes from Belfast and 40 minutes here.
So
from Newry.
what does your day entail as the conservation and heritage officer?
Well, I mean, it's so varied. That's the great part about it. You know, we've got the museum services, we've got the conservation team, and they've been working on a number of projects, and there are a lot of new projects in the pipeline. So it's great to see. It's great to see how you know, you can make a real difference to wildlife.
Yeah.
For example, creating local nature reserves. At the minute now, the guys are working on a bird feeding station that people will be able to come and have a look at. And
Fantastic.
we hope to put cameras in that. So if you're sitting in having a cup of tea, you can see what the action is outside, even if the weather's not so good.
The whole notion of building there, you're building in total harmony. You mentioned the site that's been created. But it is in total harmony with the environment. It has to be.
Well, it has to be, Rowan, because it's a very protected site. And quite apart from that, you know, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
So you want to protect what you've got, because that's what people are coming to see. So there's no point in ruining it for them. And a lot of the visitors come just for the scenic beauty of the place. So that's
Archaeology, I see the National Heritage people, they've mentioned archaeology occurring there. What's the archaeological significance of the area?
of Lough Neagh.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of the first areas that was settled in Ireland. So you have Coney Island, for example, that we look after as well over in the west. Coney Island was a Mesolithic settlement. So you know, there were archaeological digs done there. But right round the loch, there are things to be found. The loch level has lowered, you see. It was lowered a number of times from the 1850s. So it's about 3 metres lower now than it would have been then.
Okay.
So there's always things cropping up that are of interest.
Wish you well.
Yes.
We're going to
thank
play you
you
some music. And thank you for coming.
Thanks, Rowan.
All the best to you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's Rosemary Mullholland of the Lough Neagh Discovery Centre there in the heart of Ulster. Issues of conservation and heritage are in her bag. Go well. Take care.